All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Something in Common. I am your host, Michael Wright, and across from me, as always, is my lovely, talented, beautiful wife, Kymberly Nicole. And today, we have a very special guest on the Something in Common podcast. This man is a three-time world bench press champion, a three-time world strict curl champion, and the mentor in my head, as I always say. This man had played a major part, and I can say this, and I'm glad that I'm looking right at him when I can tell him this, that, you know, he helped save my life. And I've said this a few times on this show, just being the man that he is, the words of encouragement just from the videos. He played a major role in this health journey that I'm on. So I want to welcome everybody to the show, the one and only, the Compton Superman, C.T Fletcher. Mr. Fletcher, how are you today, sir?
Mike, I am blessed and honored to be on your show. Thank you for having me. Yes, and when you came out with that description, I'm like, who is he talking about?
I'm talking about this strong motherfucker on the screen next to me. That's who I'm talking to.
I thought you said she did all the cussing.
Listen, I was getting ready to say, you know, I don't follow weightlifting and all, but I do know Mr. Fletcher lifts heavy shit.
See?
Yeah, Kim, he said a bad word.
He sure did.
I throw a few of them. I throw a few of them in there every now and then, but not as much as her. Not as much as her.
He come over to our side,
right?
She says it keeps her young. That's what she says.
Oh yeah, man. If you like that, you know, everybody understand that. A lot of people, you know, do it behind closed doors. Me and Kim just do it out in the open because and we real, and that's how it gotta be.
She will cuss any and everywhere. It don't matter.
I try. I'm a work in progress. I try to be good, but sometimes it is what it is.
That's just your natural vocabulary. That's
absolutely.
Just you know, dress it up or change for nobody. When a man asks me, CT, you want to be on YouTube? The first question I asked him, Kim, was, can I cuss?
Amen. Yes. Can you be who you are?
Said, as soon as he said, yeah, I said, well, it's on then. Let's go.
And he asked me that. When I asked him to be on the show, he said, can I be myself? I said, sir, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't have it any other way. You being you is what helped me, and it's clearly helping people all around the world. So I want to ask you that first question. Have you got used to all this fame that you've amassed over the last 7-8 years?
Now, Mike, I don't consider myself to be famous at all.
She.
And you know, I'm gonna tell you, my kids sometimes say that too, and I say, look, I'm not famous, and I tell you why.
Okay.
I can go to the house, I can go to the grocery store, I can shop, and I can go, you know, I can go park, I walk up and down the street, and I don't have motherfuckers running at each other. So I'm like, dude, there you go. I don't have that. You know, I have, you know, if you work out or lift weights or something, then people, hey, there goes C.T Fletcher. But a famous motherfucker can't do the things that I do, you know, without being, so I'm not famous.
I'm sure as soon as people hear your voice, though, they know who you are. I mean, you have a distinct voice, and as soon as you say "motherfucker," that's it. I know who. As soon as I'll be in another room and hear him with the phone on, and as soon as I hear that, I know who he's listening to.
Well, see, that's because you guys are on a fitness journey yourselves. So if you do, you know, in the fitness realm or athletics, boxing, or sports, or football, or something, then you may have heard of me. But outside of that, just regular, ordinary folks. I see one guy. You know, I go to VA hospital regularly, and he was, hey, CT, you know, I'm a ex Army. And I go up there and, hey, he's with his wife. Hey, that's C.T Fletcher. And his wife was, oh, wow, let me take y'all a picture. And then she said, who is that baby? Who is that motherfucker?
Well, people unfamous people don't gather 2 million Instagram followers like yourself, sir. So
I'm like, hey, ma'am, I don't blame you. I don't hardly know who that motherfucker is myself. So, and you know, Mike, I don't know how, you know, I can only explain the 2 million followers. It's good Lord, because you know, I got on YouTube my first video, and I said, look, I don't give a fuck if you watch me or not. If you don't like what I'm saying, turn your shit off. I don't give a fuck. And I didn't. I didn't give a fuck because, you know, I didn't know, I really didn't know anything about all I know, man said, hey, we want you to be yourself and say whatever you want to say. And I told him, I don't give a fuck whether y'all watch me and turn the shit off, motherfucker. I don't give a damn. And, you know, and I did, Mike, not at all. And who knew that people, you know, would like me saying that, being straight out with them. I thought people would run away, you know, tell me to cut the shit off. I'm gonna cut them off.
Well, I've heard you talk about what's the word? The word you used was pussification.
Yes, sir.
Some of these people. So I can see why you thought your demeanor would run people off, but clearly it's making the world embrace you. So I'm sure that had to come as a shock to you.
It was a big shock. And then, you know, I had close friends and stuff at the time telling me, hey, don't be cussing like that. They just, you know, that make you seem cheap and uneducated and all. I said, look, I ain't trying to impress no motherfucking body. This is me. I've been cussing since the 3rd grade. Keep right on cussing. I called Miss Berry, my 3rd grade teacher, a motherfucker.
Well, my wife here showed me an article a few years ago that said people with really high IQs cuss the most. So she has held that on me. So clearly, Mr. Fletcher, you must have a very high IQ like my wife here, because she likes to throw around a lot of cuss words too.
Oh yeah, it's liberating.
It is.
Be yourself.
Yeah, you're not hiding nothing.
That's right.
They get the real, and then you can take it and leave it.
That's right. There you go. They lay it out there like that.
This is why she has no friends.
And you know what? I bet she ain't bothered either. She don't give a damn.
No, honestly, the last show that we did, we talked about that. You know, we're both in our 40s and we don't have a lot of friends. And we did a whole show on that one. She's trying to get a little better, but you know, I think her realness can kind of rub some people the wrong way because she has no filter whatsoever. She will tell you exactly what she thinks of you, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, well, you know, I applaud that. Yeah. I give a fuck, but if they don't like you for you, who you really are, fuck them.
So I want to jump into, well, let me tell a quick story. So I first ran across C.T Fletcher about 7 years ago. A friend of mine, my boy Levon in California, sent me a video. He said, man, you got to check out this guy, C.T Fletcher. And I'm sitting there like, I don't know who the hell C.T Fletcher is, but I'll check him out if you say, you know, that he's somebody I should watch. Now, my friend Levon, known this guy since middle school, and he is a big, strong motherfucker too. All he does is lift weights. He's been lifting weights since the 8th grade. That's all he is. So he sent me this video. He said, man, you got to check this dude out. Checked out the video. It was the YouTube video, The Strongest Man You've Never Heard Of. And I watched that video. And from that moment on, I was hooked. Because at that particular time in my life, I was one of those people you call those sitting on the couch eating bonbon motherfuckers. That's who I was. I was 400 and close to 440 pounds, had completely let myself go. Played football, was in pretty decent shape in high school and graduated. And from that point on, it was just, all I did was work, take care of my kids, but I completely let myself go. From that point on, when I watched that video, it was something that gravitated me to you. And so any video I could find on C.T Fletcher, and there was a bunch of them at the time, and I watched them and I watched them and I watched them. And at that particular point in my life, I wasn't ready to make that next step to get better, but it was things that you were saying that were ingraining into my head. So a few years ago, I got really, really sick. I thought I had an upper respiratory infection or something like that. I was just having a hard time breathing. Anything like walking up the stairs just winded me. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe I'm coming down with a cold or the flu or something. Go to the hospital. It was none of that. My blood pressure was 230 over 210. It was this close to a stroke.
Mike, I'm telling you why I'm shaking my head, because I done had them triple-digit blood pressures my damn self, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, what I didn't know as I was researching this, that you dealt with the hypertension and it
Oh,
basically
yeah.
took you out and put you on complete disability.
Yeah.
That part I didn't know.
Congestive heart failure. It started with hypertension, really, really high blood pressure low. So when you read out that 200 number, people if they know about blood pressure, they know that's your ass is in trouble when you hit the 200s. And I done had some 200s, so yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, my primary care doctor is a Black woman, and she looked at me and she said, "Michael, your ass is a walking stroke."
Just waiting to happen.
Yep. And before that, I had no symptoms, anything of that nature. Had it not kicked off that day, I'd probably still be walking around here with damn super high blood pressure. So luckily at this point, that's under control. And from there, I knew I had to take the steps to get better, because if not, I was not going to be here too much longer.
Exactly.
And that's when I kept hearing CT in my head telling me to get my fat ass off that couch and stop eating them damn bonbons, even though it wasn't bonbons. It was probably Doritos or some other bullshit I was eating at the time. Ain't no telling what it was. Doing all of this, just clearly the CT we get on YouTube is the CT you've always been. So was there any, before the YouTube thing kicked off, was there any thought process to that you could be this motivational person that you are? Have you always been able to motivate people like that, even before the YouTube fame and all of that stuff?
Mike, my daughter sent me a video yesterday. Man, I'm gonna try to get through this. Of my big brother Walt. We grew up together. It was quite a few years in between our age. I was a year and a half younger than Walt, and we have a little brother that is like 17 years in between us and him.
Oh, that's a big gap.
And Big Walt he went around 350, 385, and at 5'10".
Wow.
He passed away, and he had the opportunity, his job, he's driving buses. He could have got the gastric bypass surgery, but he turned it down, Big Mike. He turned it down because he was scared. He seen me have open heart surgery and have my aortic valve replaced, and he's seen how I went from 320 pounds down to 175 pounds, and it was rough. He seen me pass away 3 times on the operator, and it scared him. It scared him real bad. He didn't want to, go through it, and he passed away of hypertension, and he wouldn't do it. But my daughter dug up a video that was supposed to be in my Magnificent Obsession, but never made it. I'm gonna release my brother's interview next weekend on my channel. But when I heard him talking, Mike, and I ain't heard him, since I talked to him when he was alive in the hospital, and man, I was crying like a little old kid, man, to hear my big brother talk, because that was my superhero.
Yeah,
that was the dude, that I looked up to. I mean, I thought Big Walt could do anything. He's the one who first, when we first started lifting little pig iron in the backyard, when Dad brought it home from the swap meet, it was so heavy, he had to get one end, and I had to get the other end. Well, we kept messing with it, Kim, and kept messing with that thing till it got light. And after a while, we throwing that weight up with one arm. I got to go get more pig iron in. So losing, my mother and all 9 of her siblings all passed away from heart problems. It runs in the family. It runs in family. So when you talk about, high blood pressure and hypertension, I know what you're talking about.
Yep. It's a scary thing, and I've heard it referred to as a silent killer, and it truly is. Because like I said, before I got sick, I had no symptoms. None.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for me, it getting so high to the point where it basically damn near killed me that day, I probably never would even known I had it.
Yeah.
And from that point on, I had to hear her mouth because she was really on top of me.
Oh yeah.
You know, and you brought up the gastric bypass. Like I didn't have the gastric bypass. I had the sleeve, but I had to do something drastic at that moment to help get my life on track. And I don't shy away from that part of my journey at all. So, you know, I get a lot of, you know,
if my brother,
go ahead.
My brother, same thing. I think he would be here, you know, right now talking, you know, on this podcast. Yep. So I think you did a wonderful thing. It's the best thing to stay around here as long as you can. Your kids and Kim and all us motherfuckers, we need your ass. So I'm glad you did, man.
Yeah, and it was, you know, she had already started the process. And at that particular, when she first started, I was like, I'm not doing that shit. Like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm gonna do it by myself. And I had made a million excuses up to that point, knowing damn well it was just, I wasn't gonna do nothing. I wasn't gonna do it. And thinking back on it now. So when I had that health scare, it was like, okay, I got to do something drastic. So she had hers in what, February?
February.
Yeah, and I had mine in April. And so combined, we've lost a total of what, over 400 pounds, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Man.
I think, so for me, and I'm not a bodybuilder, strength, like I'm not in that world. I do strength training. I'm more of a runner, cardio spin person. I do strength training because I need to remain strong and can run. But I do remember, you know, back in the day, my dad, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger and the muscle guys, and he watched all that. And Michael and I were preparing for this interview this week, and we were watching your YouTube and all that. And I think more than just the fitness aspect, that you motivate people just by being who you are. I was watching you, and just, my dad passed away last month. He had COVID pneumonia and passed away. And when I was watching, I was like, he sounds like my dad. Like what you were saying, I was just like, that's why I did what I did. My dad was very overweight when he passed away. But in my earlier years, he was that guy. He was out there working out. He was lifting weights. You know, life happened, depression. He ended up gaining a lot of weight, over 400 pounds when he passed. And when he got sick prior to COVID a few years ago, that's what turned my life around. I was 468 pounds. I could barely walk and had to do something because I didn't want to be in the hospital. That's where he was. And he looked at me and said, don't be like me. They can't save my life because I'm fat. So I had to do something. So to hear you talk, and I watched the little clip when you went and spoke to the high school students.
Yes.
And you were talking about the obsession.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask about that. Like, you said that some obsessions are good obsessions, and I totally agree. I am obsessed now with working out. Like, if I don't work out, I feel like I'm slacking.
Yeah.
So
that is a good thing.
Yeah. So how did you get to that point where it was an obsession for you, where you couldn't stop? I mean, you've had open heart surgery where they said, don't do this anymore. And you still did it.
Yeah, that I think that's a little bit of ignorant mixed up in there. A little bit of ignoramus mixed up in there with my obsession. You know, I devoted my life to it, and I decided that I'm going to do it, you know, until they throw dirt on top of me. That's one of my family. I'm going to do this until they throw dirt on top of me. And if I have any, I cannot do the things I used to do, but I can do, what I can do. Whatever I can do, I'm gonna do that. I walked around the neighborhood today, and I'm out of breath like a motherfucker when I got back on. But I did what I could do. I do what I can do, Kim, and that's all I try to. I had these trained iron addict certification cards. I used to have them, and I would put them people through hell, Kim. I put them through hell. And we had a guy that was about 400 pounds in the class, and every time I give him something to do, push-ups or sit-ups or whatever it was, he could never complete the assignment. But I tell you what, Kim, every time, he would go until he fell fat on his motherfucking face. And don't you know, He graduated with honors because he did the absolute best that he could do. Anytime that you give everything you got, you can't go wrong. If you got just a little bit and you give it, you can't go wrong. There's a story. I'm a preacher's kid. I don't know if y'all know a preacher's kid.
Yes, sir.
And there's a story in the Bible where they was giving offerings at this everybody's giving offers, and the folks had a whole lot of money, and they put a whole lot of money in the collection plate. And one little old widow came up there with something that was less than a penny. And she put it in the collection plate, and the Lord said, hey, she done gave more than all of you rich folks. Because she gave everything she had, Kim. She gave it all. And anytime you that, and I mean, that's the way I look at it with training or working out. If you give everything you got, boy, you can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong.
There you go. So you talked about walking now and being out of breath. As of right now, how is your health? How are you doing physically now?
Well, like I said, I'm not what I used to be, but you know, I walk a couple of miles every day. I try to put a couple of miles in every day, and I ain't got the fastest pace going on, but I get it done. Kim. I shuffle my ass home.
I know that's right. So I did see the videos. I see your youngest son works out. Are all of your kids into fitness with you?
No.
Okay.
No, my youngest son, and I have a couple daughters that are, you know, really trying to watch their weight and stuff. But as far as lifting weights, my youngest son is the only one who really took to the lifting weights. I didn't, you know, it made me no difference whatsoever. They did as long as they happy. So I never pushed my youngest son to lift weights. He used to follow me around to the gym. He was a little bitty boy. I changed some diapers in the gym with him. He wanted to, you know, everywhere that I went, he wanted to be with me. So he followed me around, and he loved it. So that's why he does it. But
I've watched Samson grow over the last 7-8 years. I've been following you, and to see this young kid in the gym with you and to see what he is now, amazing. And Samson is you named him properly. He is truly a Samson. That boy is a beast, a damn beast.
I had a feeling. This boy gonna do something. So I said, I better name him. He's gonna be named Samson anyway. I'm just kidding. I mean, if he's a librarian, he's gonna be named Samson. If I have another child and it's a boy, he's gonna be Samson.
Yeah, he definitely turned into a Samson. I'm just as motivated with him now, watching his videos every day, just as I am with yours. To see where he came from over the years and all the hard work he's put in, amazing. And how Samson was what, 25?
Yeah, Samson's 25 now, and they talked a whole lot of shit about my boy when he was, 17, 16, followed me in the gym, expecting him to be me at 16 years old. And boy, Mike, when I first got hey, I'm trying to tell, I'm saying, look, motherfucker, that's my son. And before anything, I am his father. And you think I'm gonna let you talk shit about my son and not say nothing? Boy, I tell you what you better not do, and that's give me your address, because I'll be knocking your motherfucking door. You ain't talking about my son. I said, that is my boy.
It was more online, like talking shit, or just people in the gym, period?
No, they ain't gonna do it in the gym, because that's face to face. They were gonna do it in the gym, Mike. People online tough guys. Oh yeah, his form is. I said, look, my son's 16, my son's 17 years old. Partner, I said, you a man and you ain't shit. You ain't never been shit, and you ain't gonna never be shit. Now
I hear you. I said the same thing. We were watching your video, and I saw the ending clip where you were with your kids having lunch on the beach, and somebody walked up to you and said, "Oh, you're not as big as you look like on TV or videos or whatever." He wanted to arm wrestle you. And so I was like, are you serious? You schooled that young man. I was sitting there in the bed watching, and I'm talking. I'm like, if you don't get your ass, really? This is C.T Fletcher. First of all, put some respect on his name. And then he just kicked your ass. in arm wrestling. Like, are you serious?
I'm gonna tell you.
How many people try you on a regular?
You know what, Kim? I'm gonna tell you a little secret. That young man is now my son-in-law.
Oh wow! Are you serious?
Yep. Got 2 grandkids. We got 2 more grandkids by that young man. He's very nice individual, and the director said, "Hey, I want you to talk a little shit to CT."
Look.
He was dating my daughter at the time, and he said, "Hey, I want to go shit to him."
Well, I'm glad to hear that because that upset me.
Oh, she was hot.
I was mad.
Yeah. Go shit to CT. But the arm wrestling was real. The arm wrestling was real. But he said, I want you to talk a little shit to him because he's a very nice, respectable young man.
Because I was hot behind that.
yeah, very nice. They call him Tank, Big Tank.
Okay.
So I have a question. So you said you have your one son. When you were married, did your wives participate in your fitness journeys with you at all?
The first go round, no. I said, you know what? I used to say it all the time when I was young. One of these days, because I was working at the post office. After I got out of service, I went to the post office. I spent 28 years at the post office, and I said, one of these days, this lifting weights is gonna pay off, and I'm gonna be lift weights for a living. And I ain't gonna have to work at the post office. Somebody gonna pay me to lift weights. And she looked at me and she said, "Well, when?"
I know that's right.
When, motherfucker? When? That shit for a while now. When is that shit gonna happen? You know, after a while, Kim, I was like, damn, I was wondering myself. When? I was 53 years old before I even got on YouTube. And I'm like, oh, man, this shit ain't happened yet. I guess you're right. This shit ain't gonna never happen. Because I think, once you win a world title,
right?
They gonna be calling you up and offering you shit and making, endorsements. Ain't none of that shit happening. Ain't nobody called me nothing but a motherfucker.
So was it just different back then to be a world champion? It was just because there was probably no social media, none of that stuff?
I'm wondering if part of the problem was our skin color. Because I did hear you talk about somebody saying to you, you're not Arnold. You're not an Arnold Schwarzenegger. But was that an issue because you were a Black man?
Yeah, I went to so many competitions where I was the only Black person there. I mean, a whole lot of back then. Powerlifting, it was just a few elite Black powerlifters in my day, back in my day. It was a few. Mike Hall, there's a few guys, but not that many. O.D. Wilson, not too many. So guy told me, he said, see, I know you lifting all these weights and strong, but you ain't gonna never be Arnold Schwarzenegger. I said, motherfucker, I ain't trying to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Shit. He ain't gonna never be me either.
Exactly. I was ready to say, could he lift as much as you? Who knows? Like, really?
I don't think so.
But it's also he meant as far as fame and fortune.
Yeah.
And shit, that's shit true. That shit was true. But I ain't trying to be. I'm happy than a motherfucker. The way my life turned out, I bet you what, I bet you ain't happier than me.
Well, yeah. I want to go back to the relationship with not just with your sons, but with all of your kids. So it seems, and again, we're looking from the outside looking in, but it looks like C.T Fletcher's dad of the year, dad of the century. And I want to know how that played a part with the strained relationship you had with your dad. And I want to go back to my magnificent obsession. That clip where you were sitting with your father and he was telling that story. I told her, I've watched it. I watched it years ago, but watching it again the other day, before I go into all of that, I need to know what was going through your head at that particular moment, because I really thought you were going to crush him. That's what it looked like. Just the expression on your face. I don't know if it was anger, rage. I don't know what it was, but it was very prominent that stood out. And I didn't know, I was like, Lord, what is going through this man's head as he's sitting here with his father right now? So take me through that small part.
Well, you're very astute, very observant. I was trying to maintain my composure because they asked my dad, can you think of any fun times or good times that you and CT had when he was a child? And that's, that was the scene that you see there. They asked him that question, and I was on the edge of my goddamn seat, Mike, because I was like, I want to see what this motherfucker gonna say. If this, I want to see, is he gonna, because I didn't have none. Okay. I didn't have fond memories of, going to feed the ducks and squirrels and pigeons. and I wanted to see what this motherfucker was gonna say, because they would have had to cut. They would have had to cut right. If he said, said some wrong, we like, oh yeah, we had a one. If that would have come out like that, made up some shit, then there would have been some shit on screen right then. But he glazed over it. He didn't really have any fond memories. And I said, okay, well that's cool. If you ain't got no fond memories, motherfucker, I ain't got none either. So we cool. And then we had a very antagonistic relationship. And my brother, I heard my brother speaking on his interview, and he said it was because my father and myself were so much alike. That's the reason why we didn't get along. And my dad was, one of them don't take no shit from nobody kind of motherfuckers. And I tried my best, Mike, I did my absolute best to be the exact opposite of my dad. Because I didn't want my kids to grow up feeling about me the way I grew up feeling about my dad.
Yeah.
I didn't want my kids to be afraid when they heard my keys in the doorknob when I got home from work. I didn't want my kids to be afraid to be around me. I didn't want them to be scared to say something and watch how they walk, how they talk. It's miserable. Yeah. It will make a kid miserable having to be on guard 24/7.
Oh Lord, yes. I that resonated with me. I am a daddy's girl. My dad was it for me. He was my hero. He was everything in my life. But the relationship you had with your dad, I actually had with my mom.
Oh man.
So yeah, when I watched that, I was like, that is, I don't know how I would have responded. I mean, I've gone, my mom and I have had some conversations that have led to us not speaking for 6 months or a year. I mean, that's just the way it was. So when I watched that, I was like, oh, it's all over his face. I know what he is thinking and feeling, because I have totally been there, because it's very difficult. How did your, when I saw the clip, I saw it was like your dad was, he was talking about your success, and it seemed as if he was proud of your success. And did you ever have that conversation? Did he ever was proud of you and what you had done?
Okay, there you go. He told other people, I heard him say to like the guy that was filming the document, that he was proud. I heard him, say those things, but it absolutely, didn't ring true. Yeah. Because I remember one time he never went to any competition that I ever had. And then one thing, I remember him going to a track meet when I was very young, and I came in second. And I remember seeing my dad turn around, get up, and walk out. Wow. The stadium. But other than that, he had never been to any event or anything that I ever done. I've been competing my whole life in one thing or another. Mm-hmm. He never came, and he went as far as to telling me that he did. He said he didn't have any interest in seeing me do anything, and he said, "You think I want to see that? I don't want to see." And I was like, but I was grown by then, Kim. Yeah. I was like, I don't give a damn.
Exactly. So he never said he was proud or anything about when you opened the gym and all that. That just wasn't.
Well, he like I said, he said on he would tell other folks, but I don't know. I think because he knew that it was I wasn't buying it. I'm like, man, look, when you had the opportunity to come, and so you told me out your own mouth that you didn't care about none of that stuff. I don't care about nothing you doing. Muscles and weightlifting. He told me straight out, weightlifting and all stuff. When I was young, we thought that guys wasn't shit that lift weights and I'm like, I don't give a damn about what you thought. Don't make me no difference what you thought. Just now is now, then was then. It don't make me no goddamn difference at all what you think about me. So we used to have some real.
I know your father passed. Were you guys able to reconcile any of that before his passing, or was there ever a conversation, anything that happened before he passed that hopefully put things on a different path before he passed?
I'm gonna tell you, Kim, Mike, all the way. I mean, I was in my 50s, and I'd be waking up, swinging and punching and kicking and shit, having nightmares and shit. Always with my dad, always fighting my dad, always fighting. But before when I had my heart attack in 18, when I had the heart attack and they told me there was nothing else they could do for the heart that I had, and I needed another heart. And I figured I might not make it.
Yeah.
Dang good thing is I wasn't going to be alive. I had flatlined a couple more times after the 3 times during the first couple, flatlined a couple more times. I said, well, I went over there to see the old man. I went to see my dad, and I said, look, I don't want to leave here with all this animosity and feeling these feelings. Me and my dad was arguing at my mom's funeral. That's how bad it was.
I was going to ask you, I didn't know how to bring that up, but I wasn't there. I just know the part that you brought up in the documentary, but had that been me, I probably would have snapped his neck right there.
Wow.
I'm just going to be totally honest with you. So you handled that probably a lot better than I would have.
Wow.
And it was my mom's funeral. I was trying to, respect her, respect, what it was, but I was pissed off enough to do exactly. I wanted to ragdoll him, Mike. So, yeah, but anyway, like I was saying, after I had, I'm 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot here. I went by to see the old man. I just told him, I said, look, Pops, I've been blaming you my whole life for a whole lot of things, in the way I was and the things some things I had to go through. And I blame you for this. I blame you for that. And I said, look, this is what I want you to do. I don't want to leave here with anything between us. I want you to forgive me.
Wow.
All my life, Kim, I waited for that old man to ask me to forgive him. He's 86 years old, and I got 1 foot in the grave, and that didn't happen. I said, look, that ain't gonna happen. So what I'm gonna have to do, if I want to get this monkey off my back, if I want to feel better, if I want to sleep good at night, I'm going to have to go over there and tell that old man to forgive me. Because he ain't going to ever ask me to forgive him. I'm just saying, look, Pops, I want you to forgive me. And don't you know, Kim, I started sleeping good at night and resting a whole lot better. Wasn't no more punching and kicking and stuff. I had to get it off me because the apology that I had waited my whole life for just wasn't going to come. It wasn't going to come. So I had to get that pressure off me.
You hear folks say that forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you. You can't move, and you never understand what that means until you're in that situation where you're like, I have to live. I've got to have some sanity behind this. And as a grown person, you can't make another grown person do anything. So you have to do what you have to do to heal yourself. So listen, I am a work in progress. I don't know if I could have had that type of grace, but you needed it because of the situation that you were in.
Oh, most definitely. I had to, because I thought my he was like I say 86, and I thought my dad was gonna make 100 easy.
Ooh.
Because he was, he was still, pretty feisty. When he passed away, I was up in Palo Alto waiting on my heart. I was waiting on a heart.
Oh wow.
Couldn't leave because they would have had to take me off the list and then try to get in there. And I was no, you ain't taking me off this list.
Wow.
I'm gonna stay on this list. And because if you leave while you're on the list, they search for a heart for you, then you get taken off. Wow. You guys start over. No, I'm not starting over. I might not make it. I've come too far. Mm-hmm. So I was not able to attend my dad's funeral.
Wow. So you got your heart, and how are you doing now with your heart? I saw, in the documentary you talk about the ticking and getting the ticking. How are you now with your heart?
Well, Kim, the ticking was because they put a mechanical aortic valve in the first time I had open heart surgery, and that with it being metal, it made a clicking sound. It sounded like a stopwatch, and it was loud enough so that if you stood, anywhere close to me, you could hear it. Like I get on the elevator and everybody be like, "What is that?" Oh
wow! Other people could hear it. I thought, when I was thinking, I was like, you could hear, like we hear our heartbeat. It's so loud, but other people heard it. Wow.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Other people heard it, and but once I had the heart transplant, they took that heart out.
Okay.
And put the heart in of a woman. I have a woman's heart, and so that no more clicking. I have a whole different heart, not the heart that the good Lord, I come here with. I don't know where that one's at, but I have a whole nother heart. And if you'd told me that when I was a kid, I'd have said, "No, hell no, that's impossible to take somebody's heart, put it in another person, and they keep on walking, talking." That ain't gonna happen. That's Frankenstein kind of stuff right there.
And you've done really well. You've done really well. And we talk about, I'm in healthcare, and they talk about how your physical self helps when you have to have, transplants and other issues that come up. So you were in good physical health. Do you attributed that to how you are now, that you're able to, the heart, there's no rejection, and you're doing well because you were physically fit for the transplant?
Yeah, I guess I was physically fit. I was still working out pretty good. Them in there with Cali Muscle and all the rest of them, trying to, them young boys. They keep me. Cali's not real young, but I mean, younger than me. Everybody I worked out with was younger than me.
Yeah, you in there with Mike Rashid and Big Rob and all them boys.
Mike O'Hearn, Mike Rashid, and all them professional wrestlers and shit. And I'm like, y'all, I'm 50-something years old. Y'all, boy, I be thinking a lot of time, Mike, y'all would have caught me when I was a young man. I'd have showed out up in here. Get leftovers here, try to keep up with the old man.
Oh, you were doing a hell of a job from what I saw. You was giving the boys a run for their money.
Make the old man work for it. I used to a lot of, hold on a minute, man. I gotta let my ticking is ticking a little too fast. Calm down a little bit.
So you grew up in Compton, and I've heard you talk about how I don't know if a lot of people who've never been to Compton understand how Compton was, how it is, how it used to be back in the day. How did growing up in Compton mold you into the person that you are now?
When you go to the service, when I'm put it like this, when we went to the Army, everybody, if you knew the guys from Philly. Mm-hmm. I'm from Philly, because it was just the guys from Philly proud of being from Philly. Yeah. Guy from Chicago, proud of being from Chicago. I'm from St. Louis. Guy from where you proud of your home, man. I'm from Compton, and and Compton had the reputation back then. We had the highest crime rate in the United States. Little bitty city with the highest crime rate in the United States. And Mike, I was so crazy. I was proud of that shit. I'm from Compton, motherfucker.
And well, just saying you from Compton used to pump fear in a lot of people's heart, even back in the 90s. Because I'm from California, so I grew up in Bakersfield. But I had people that was in Compton, and they would come down to Bakersfield and they would tell us about Compton. And I was thinking to myself, that is one place I do not want to fuck around in. It just is not. And yeah,
I tell you, a whole lot of it's a whole lot of good things. I mean, when we first moved to Compton, now we moved from Watts. We started out, and during the Watts riot, we lived in Watts during the Watts riots with National Guard all over the streets, you know. And Pops wanted to go to church. Brother sitting in the back. See, we ain't got no choice. We riding in the back of that deuce and a quarter. And I'm like,
deuce and a quarter. Yes, sir.
Back of Pop's deuce and a quarter. And I'm like, damn, I want to go home and look at some cartoon. Fuck this shit. Why is we here? But you know, you can't say that shit under your breath. I would be on this podcast.
Yes, sir.
I had to say it under my breath. This motherfucker crazy.
So I've heard in other interviews that you know, you talk about people like Tookie Williams. Did you ever have any run-ins with guys like that? I know Craig Bunsen. You've had him on the show before. Oh,
most definitely. Craig was a idol. He was the monster, man. Can y'all see me? Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, Craig was like the myth of the streets. And Tookie was 2 years older than me. And I would see him. We had a youth center in town, and Tookie and the Crips, when they went to the youth center, they would close it down. They would shut it down for them to get their workout in. Okay, Tookie and the Crips is in there working out, and all the rest of us motherfuckers had to wait till they got through, and then we could go in there and work out. But they would shut down school when they told us when the Crips was coming up to the school. They would let us out of school early. I was so glad when they said, hey, the Crips is coming today, and they was, hey, y'all can go home early. Yes.
Wow.
That is true. I would love when the Crips would come to school because we could go home early. I just wanted to go home early. Look good. That's one good thing the Crips did. But time was something else back then. I mean, we started out, before all of that, we used to fist fight. It was fist fight. Everybody fist fighting. And I guess somebody got their ass whooped and didn't want to fist fight and started pulling knives. Then they went from knives to gun. The first time I had a gun stuck in my face, I was in the 9th grade, kid.
Wow.
9th grade. The guy pulled the gun, told me he's a West Park Pyru because I was talking to a little girlfriend.
Wow.
And he couldn't fight. So he pulled his gun out, snub nose 38. I never forget. He said, hey, if you run, I kill your ass.
Wow.
And Mike and Kim, that was the first thing on my mind. Take off.
Wow.
But I couldn't go because he told me gonna kill me if I did.
Did you do a lot of fighting back in the day? I saw your interview that you did with Big Boy at the radio station there, and you talked about slapping people's heads off back then. Were you a big fighter? Was it just more anger growing up, you know, issues with your dad that just had you angry? Like, did you do a lot of fighting back then?
No, I'm very, very angry, had a bad temper when I was younger, but I didn't do no whole lot of fighting. When I was in the military, I trained in martial arts the whole time I was there, earned my 2nd degree black belt. Fought one, you know, in a big time tournament, and Billy Blanks was the middleweight champion of the world. I was a middleweight and got disqualified and shit before I could make it to Billy. Thank goodness, because Billy would have whooped my ass. But, I'm telling y'all, Billy Blanks, you see him doing the tie bow and all this shit. But back in the day, Billy Blanks would whoop your ass.
Wow.
Billy Blanks could fight. He wasn't just no aerobics.
Listen, I think when I think of Billy Blanks, I think of him kicking my ass with some kickboxing on the video.
Yeah. So, but Billy could fight. I'm telling you,
Wow.
this was a like point tournaments. You know, supposed to be skill and how fast and speed, and Billy was knocking people out accidentally.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Oops. Yeah, Billy was a bad boy. Billy was a bad boy.
So
but
go ahead.
I would slap a motherfucker down pretty quick though.
Now he just told us how he didn't do a lot of fighting, then ended it with slapping him down. Well, I guess it wasn't a fight if you were slapping them down and they weren't doing nothing after that. So maybe that wasn't a fight.
If somebody's talking a whole lot of shit and you slap them down, and that's the end. It's like that's it. That ain't really no fight.
That ain't a fight. You right.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
So I've heard in other interviews you referred to yourself as an extremist.
Yes.
Is that all just from your childhood? Is that something you've always had? Is that something you kind of developed as you got older? That extremist attitude?
No, I believe I was born. I think I was born like that. And if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it all the way. And that can cost you sometime, boy. I don't be looking for no plan B, no escape. I decided this is the path I'm gonna take, and I'm gonna take this path, and either I'm gonna run into a motherfucking wall, or I'm gonna keep going. one of the two. So it's sometimes being like that can really cost your ass. I decided I was gonna run across that damn parking lot because I felt like I could do it, Kim. And fell right on my motherfucking face. But
Speaking of that, I saw that. What was that? Just something? Was that something you had to do to prove to yourself that you could still do something? When I saw that clip, like I was worried for you, just as somebody who, enjoys what you do. The impression that you've had on my life, and to see you try to run across that parking lot and fall and bust your head open, I was like, why did he do that? You just had your chest cracked open.
Yeah, but I'm too goddamn. I'm gonna show these people that I can, do things, and I ain't no ordinary motherfucker, and I'm gonna, I can do this shit because I'm a will myself to do this shit, and I feel like I can run across this goddamn parking lot, and I took off my
Lord.
I got 3 steps in, and I said,
Look, you sound like my dad. My dad used to be like, I'm a man. Yeah. I can do it. Whatever. I'm a man. And I'd be like, but why? It doesn't make any sense. But it didn't matter.
No, that's I talk all the time about a sense-making motherfucker.
Yeah.
So you want sense-making motherfuckers? No, I don't make a whole lot of shit I do don't make no sense.
When you were opening your gym, I saw the clip about you talking about when you were left the post office and all these gyms wanted you to have these certifications.
Absolutely.
Did you ever get any of them goddamn certifications?
That's why I'm a Iron Addict certified. I'm gonna get my own guy. Fuck y'all and y'all certified.
Speaking of the gym, and again, I'm from the outside looking in. I could be wrong, but I got the impression like they just didn't want you there. Did I read that wrong?
At the gym that I was training at before I got my own gym?
No, when you were trying to open up your gym in Signal Hill.
All
yes. The crap they were putting you through.
What was her name, Connie?
Colleen.
Colleen. Yeah. She was on my last goddamn nerve. I was ready to go whoop Colleen ass.
Most definitely. They did not want us to open that gym up. And they made us jump through all kind of hoops and hurdles and shit, but I was determined.
Did you ever find out what it was, or I still don't understand why it was such a process to get this gym open? It just honestly seemed like they just didn't want you to open the gym there. That's at least the way it came off. Yeah,
it was. I found out later that it was a young lady that was. Well, I call her young. She was not young at all. She's older than me.
Wow.
And She was on the city council, and she was a friend of mine, and she thought that she was putting in a good word for me at the city council. Oh, CT's, yeah, he's wonderful. But turns out the rest of the folks on the city council didn't like her.
Wow.
So anybody that she, had liked or had, they automatically didn't like because they didn't like her.
Ma'am, she got a bad reputation, which in turn had you had a bad reputation.
Yeah, trying to, if she like him, then something got to be wrong.
Wow.
So they was trying to stop me everywhere they could.
Well, I'm glad you got it open. I saw they lifted the ban in California, so is the gym open now, or?
It's not completely. It's, they can train outside and do a little bit of personal on the inside, but mostly it's outside.
Okay.
So tell the people, so I see a lot of people are switching to online stuff now with the pandemic. Are you all doing online trainings, or people can sign up for online programs or anything?
I was getting there. He just got a training app that just came out yesterday. Late last night, I believe.
Yep, that's correct. The Iron Addicts training app is out now, live on all the platforms, Google and Apple and all of that shit that I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I know it's out and available, and I got some old egg-headed motherfuckers that know about all that shit to handle it for me, Kim, because people ask me technical questions, and they might be talking to a brick, because I don't.
Well,
so can someone like me, who is more of a cardio fitness person and not into lifting heavy shit all the time, could I get on that and get something from it?
Most definitely, Kim. I made sure that it was, for everybody.
Okay.
And not just old iron addicts like Mike over there. And I would know hardcore motherfuckers like Mike.
I got my iron addicts and shit on.
They had my boy demonstrate, every different exercise that you can possibly think. I said, damn, I didn't even know what it was. I'm like, wall crawl and some shit. I'm like, what? I ain't never heard no. But they made sure that we included workouts and routines for everybody. And the meal, the guy who did the meal addicts part of it is a dietitian. So he knows all. A whole lot of shit that I didn't know, so I had to get some help and get some people in there that knew about all this, because you got to be able to offer something for everybody. It can't just be old iron heads like Mike over there.
Nah, I'm trying to get there. And honestly, that's another thing that I took from your early videos. You came out and you were getting ready to start your class, and you said a lot of people are claiming to be iron addicts and not doing the work. So I will not claim myself to be an iron addict just yet, but I will get there. I promise you that shit. So that is not something I'm going to claim until I get to that point of where I want to get to.
Mike, this is why I told you the story about the guy who was almost 400 pounds, who was in the Iron Addict certification class, and how he got to be a certified Iron Addict is because he gave everything he had. And I think that you have that quality, Mike. That's why I do consider you an iron addict. As long as you're giving everything you got, brother, that's it.
I'm definitely there. Like I said, it's been quite the journey. It's been quite the journey.
And I watched you, and I seen you saying you went out and it was really hard for you to do it, to do it that day. You just didn't have it. You didn't feel like it. But you went ahead and did what you could. You went ahead and worked. I'm not as strong as I used to be since I heard you talk. I'm not as strong as you since I had my operation, and I don't feel like it. But you got your ass in there and you did what the fuck you could do, man. And that's an iron addict, man. I couldn't do one fucking push-up, not one. Everything that I worked my whole life for was gone. Absolutely gone. I didn't have no strength whatsoever. But you goddamn right, I'm still a motherfucking iron addict. It's more than just, how many reps and sets and what you can do physically. It's that iron addict mentality. I'm gonna get in here. I don't give a damn if I go an inch at a time. I'm gonna get in here. I'm gonna do what I can do. That's what makes you iron addict.
Well, I will take that coming from you, being that you are the original iron addict. That particular day, I just had a moment. You know, I'm out there and I'm like, shit, I can't push the weight I used to push in high school. I don't know. I just had this moment where I was feeling like, not like what's the point, but it's like, how did I get to this point? I was more down on myself than anything.
Mm-hmm.
For all these years, here I am about to be 43 years old. And, you know, just a couple of years ago, I just started really taking my health more seriously. And I was like, I really got to this point where it's like, I don't know, I should be 10 times better than I was at 17, 18, 19 years old. And I'm not. And I felt that particular day, I just felt like I'm starting over. And that, for some reason, just didn't sit well with me that day. And when I posted that video, I was really amazed. You know, we don't have a gigantic following, but I had so many people that hit me up and were just like, man, I've been where you are. Like, oh, I'm at that same point. And you just never know when a 2-minute clip can motivate somebody to do something.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so true. I was my dad was 67 when he passed away. And one thing he would always say to me, and I would call him and be like, Dad, I'm tired. I'm old. I'm 43. I'm tired. And he'd be like, girl, you ain't old. You in your heyday. You better get out there and get it done. So, you know, you 43 years old. He said, wait till you get to be 67, get ready, almost be 70 years old. He said, but you're in your prime.
Absolutely. Pop's absolutely right. Like I said, I didn't get on YouTube till I was 53 years old. I thought it was over. I thought, you know, this lifting weight shit ain't gonna never do nothing like my first wife told me, win, motherfucker, win. I'm 53, if it ain't happened yet, it probably ain't gonna happen. But I
love seeing your interactions with your grandbabies. How are they, and are any of them trying to get in the gym like granddaddy?
Look, I'm so glad you asked me that. I have a grandson, two right now that are old enough to think about stuff like Chris, my grand, they call him the general. He played football. He's a quarterback on the football team. He came by the house the other day. He said, Grandpa, I want some pig iron.
Oh.
Yes, he did. So happy. I gave my grandboy some of that old rusty pig iron out the backyard, and he took it home. He sent me a video of him bench pressing. I said, oh boy, oh boy. And all I could think, Ken was,
take your time.
Yes, sir.
I lived.
Mm-hmm.
I lived long enough to see it.
Mm.
I lived long enough to see my grandson ask me for some pig iron.
Wow.
And you know what? That's a blessing.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Yeah, I hear that. My dad was a musician. He sang and he played the guitar, self-taught.
Oh man.
He could listen to music and hear it. He couldn't read music, but he could hear by ear. And my daughter, my youngest, she's 16. She's played the cello she's played the violin, then the cello since the 3rd grade. And that was one of he was like, I just wanted to live to see one of my grandchildren do what I love. What I love to do. So she's my baby. She's 16. She can read music. And it was just amazing to watch her teach him how to read music when he was in his 60s. And he just loved it. He was so happy that he lived long enough to see her do this and to be able to teach him something that he didn't know. So I know that is an amazing feeling for you to see your grandbabies follow behind you.
I wasn't supposed to be here.
Listen, right?
And I got to, and my other grandboy, Papa, he asked me for some pig iron too, so to be able to see my grandkids, to still be around here long enough to see my grandkids. Wow. Asked me, hey, Grandpa, can I have some of that old rusty pig iron you got back? Man, that made me feel real good. And now I got a guy and working with a guy to make my own pig iron.
I was just about to ask you about that, so I'm not going to keep you much longer. Just a couple of more questions, but the pig iron. And I hate that I just saw this the other day because I had just ordered like a bunch of weights from Power Tech, and I was like, well, hell, if I would have known CT was coming out with his own weights, I would have waited and bought that shit. So, but it wasn't until they delivered my Power Tech shit, I was like, goddamn, I would have bought them from CT if I would have known CT had them coming.
Old motherfucker waited too long.
So what got that process started? Was that just something you've always wanted to do, or did somebody bring that idea to you?
Mike, I got all kind of dreams and visions and shit, still stuff that I want to accomplish that I haven't accomplished yet. And pig iron has always been, because that's how I started. Mm-hmm. That's taking it back old school, and I'm old school to my soul. Sure. And I want young generation to get a chance to experience, what we experienced in the backyard and garages of Compton, and I said, I'm gonna bring this shit back. Fuck it. So I went and I got the pig iron trademark, and I'm gonna have somebody make me some of this shit. And I found the manufacturer. I'm looking at I got the pig iron laying over there on the floor. I'm gonna do a commercial a little bit later on today. And as long as he don't talk crazy, I'm gonna go ahead on and get
So I have a question about women. So I saw a couple of women in your videos, at your gym, a couple, not very many, but are there a lot of women who reach out to you, a lot of women who follow your programs, a lot of women who get involved in lifting heavy shit?
There are more women at the gym, at Iron Addicts now than anybody.
Wow.
It is, I'd say it's 80% women now at Iron Addicts. And I've trained quite a few women. And I'll tell you this, Kim, I've had men drop the fuck out.
Wow.
Say, hey, CT, I'll be right back. And I don't see that.
Stop it.
But I never had one woman ever quit.
Okay.
Not one. Them women, boy, when they make up their mind, that's it. That is it. They gonna do that shit.
Well, Michael told me about the app. I'm signing up. I'm doing my first triathlon in June this year.
Oh my God.
So
praise.
I'm getting ready to
she better than me.
I'm ready to get it in. I've run up to a half marathon. Hopefully a marathon will be in my future this year. I had planned to do one last year, but because of COVID, it was canceled. But yeah, so I'm doing a triathlon in June. So I'm signing up for the app because I need to get strong and ready to do this run, swim, bike triathlon. Yeah. And I also have a Spartan race coming up soon. So I'm gonna be in the Spartans also. So I'm definitely
me and Joe DeSena, the head dude at Spartan over there is pretty good friends.
Oh,
and that Spartan, that ain't no joke.
Yeah, we got a Spartan coming up here in DC at the National Stadium is where they're gonna do it. So
yeah, Spartan is no joke.
He talked me into that shit. So if y'all see that a 225-pound man died out there, it was probably my ass.
Well, I told Joe that I was gonna come out there. I was gonna try to get myself together and do one myself. Okay. It always helps to have a goal.
Yeah.
I don't care, in your training, to have a goal. That's when I got through my first open heart surgery, my goal, Ken, was just to walk around the block. Mm-hmm. If I can just get around this block under my own power, then I'm going to be okay. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that goddamn block seemed like it was a marathon. To get around that block, boy, that was so hard. But once I just a small goal, then you can make a little bigger goal, then a little bigger. We build on it. The goals get a little bigger and a little bigger. But making them goals is a good thing, and I think you're doing a wonderful thing to set that goal and say it out loud.
Yeah.
Say it out loud. People gonna be, hey, what did
happened?
You do it? Mm-hmm. Did you do it? That's making yourself accountable. They're gonna hold, hey, Kim, did you do it? I heard you said you was gonna do it, but did you do it? Mm-hmm. They gonna make
and that's why I do it, because I am the queen of excuses. I will not work out. I won't do it. But if I have a goal, if I have something I'm training for, then I can get it done. Otherwise, look, I worked 8 hours today. I'm tired.
Yeah.
She motivates me. She has been a motivating factor for me, you know, since we started this whole health journey. There were days I would wake up at 6:30 in the morning, and all I hear is a bunch of grunting and moaning. And I'm downstairs, she on that Peloton, on that treadmill, on that bike, and I'm thinking to myself, let me get my lazy ass up and work out too, because here she is at 6 o'clock in the morning, working out, making me look bad.
That's right.
I don't like when she make me look bad now. We be having problems around here after that. Speaking of wives, you talked about Miss B. What role does she play in your life? How important is she to everything that you do now?
Miss B is my backbone.
Yeah.
That's my backbone. I'm telling you, Mike, when she was there both times, every time I flatline, or the first time, you know, it was during the operation, so she couldn't be in the operating room. But the last 2 times, she was in my hospital room. The very last time, she would sleep in a chair. You know, she would sleep in that chair every night.
Wow.
And I mean, I was in hospital intensive care for a long time. Wow. We were being there, you know, for up to a month at a time. Sometimes they trying to fight to keep the old man here. And she would be in that chair sitting by my bed every night. So I'm telling you, if it wasn't for Miss B, you know, she's more important than any doctor or any nurse. It gets my medicine together. I still take 15 pills, 15 to 20 pills every day.
Wow.
Miss B sorts my medicine out for me every day. You know, she take care of me, and so Miss B is all right with me.
Wow.
Tell these young boys how important it is to have a good woman in your life.
Oh man, I'm telling you.
One of the things that cracked me up in the documentary was like you said, how, you know, early on y'all used to bump heads because she just didn't take no shit from you. So I take it she still ain't taking no shit from you.
We didn't calm down so much. But boy, I tell you, early on, Jack, that joke right. Well, fuck it then.
She gave old CT a run for his money, huh?
Oh man, I'm throwing big. I said, wait a goddamn minute. That boy, tit for tat.
All right, so one more question. So you've been interviewed by a lot of amazing people, and also had some other amazing people on your show. You've been interviewed by one of my favorite people, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and you know, you've been interviewed by Joe Rogan and all these amazing people that, you know, seems like Goldberg, you surrounded yourself with these great people. Is there one common thing that all of these great people that you had the opportunity to interact with, is this one thing that they all have in common that made them the great, whether they're wrestlers, MMA fighters, interviewers? Is there one common thing that they all have in common that you feel like made them who they are?
There was, even though they are professional wrestlers and their job is to entertain, in real life, those are genuine people. Joe Rogan is a genuine dude. Stone Cold, genuine dude. And Goldberg is one of the nicest people you ever want to meet, man. It's they when you see them in the ring, that's a persona that they're doing to entertain the fans. But professional wrestling is a show, but you still have to be stronger than a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Professional wrestlers are still very strong people. To pick other guys up over your head, throw them around, you still got to be strong. But it's the genuineness that shines through. Mm-hmm. Anytime that you can be yourself and be genuine, then it's the realness of the person. So Stone Cold come over, man, we have so much fun. I'll be like, you cheap motherfucker, you know, because he is kind of cheap.
Well, the man drives around LA in a Ford Focus.
Yeah. You old cheap bastard, you driving over here in a fucking Ford Focus, and he ain't bullshit, he do.
I believe it.
I said, man, get your ass out that damn Ford Focus. Get you a real car, motherfucker, you cheap bastard. And then, Goldberg, I mean, they just are. I could tell you some stories about them that personal shit. You know, I was trying to raise money for a charity one time, and both of them just donated a bunch of things so to help raise money for the charity. I don't like to talk about so much of things that I do like that. I don't, social media post my, I'm gonna do this, I do this and do that. I just do it. Just do it. But they will come to the rescue whenever I tell them I need some help doing it. And Joe Rogan's the same way.
Man, that's awesome.
We don't want to keep you, Mr. Fletcher, but I do have one follow-up question to that. So those industry folks, MMA, wrestling, was it just automatic embracing of you and what you did in your work, or was it more like they didn't embrace you at first?
I'm still dumbfounded by that, Kim. I was like, why, what the hell made them, what about me made them, want to contact me and because they reached out to me, Stone Cold, so I want to be on my podcast, Bill the same way. And now Joe, I had to reach out to him several times before I got there, but and I have no idea what it was that drew us to each other, or drew them me. I guess they just like old man talking so much shit that wouldn't be ignored or something. So, but before we get off here, I want to tell you that speaking of celebrity stuff, the Dr. Dre, I can't get off there without mentioning him. Dr. Dre is the kindest, most generous individual that I have ever met. I know the headlines might say something different, but knowing the man, being in the man's house, being in the man's presence, and knowing what he did for me, I'm telling you that is one of the most generous individuals I have ever met on planet Earth. Damn near an angel, if not, yes. Yeah. And I'm telling you, true. You can read all the headlines and all that shit you want to read, but I'm telling you from actual knowledge, from actual knowing the man, and being his friend, that he's a genuinely, really, really good human being that will, he do for people that, and he ain't doing it for no publicity. If you look at his Instagram, you don't hardly ever make no posts. Right. He don't need no publicity. Right. He don't need no, he got everything he needs. And so he does things for people all the time that without any, he did something for me that is super incredible. And then he told me, but I want you to tell nobody. I don't want you to tell nobody, CT. Wow. And I'm telling you, a life-changing thing. Wow. Life-changing. And just did it he gave you a glass of water. Wow. Just like it wasn't nothing. Amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's good to hear stories like that. Like you said, you get so much crap from the media about what they think this person is. So for somebody that's had an actual genuine friendship and interaction with that person, to hear that, that's all you really need to hear at the end of the day. And, fuck all what the media got to say and people who've never met the man got to say and all of that stuff. So I'm glad you shared that with us. I do got one more thing. So I told a guy, there's this guy that I interact with on Instagram, and he just wanted me to relay a message to you. So this is my guy, Mobile from Forgiven Fitness. He's big swole motherfucker like you, boy. he all around good dude though, but he wanted me, when he found out I was interviewing you, he just wanted me to share this with you that, some years ago he had a blood clot in his leg and it started moving, and his doctors basically told him that, to make preparations. They thought he was going to die. So they told him to, get his stuff in order and, make preparations. Yeah. He said, but I started listening to CT tell his story and I got my ass up. He said, I've been moving ever since, trying to save lives. And he's helped a lot of people through his fitness program and everything. And he wanted to make sure that I relayed that message to you, that you helped save his life. You helped him get into position that he's in to now help other people. So he's a big fan of yours. So I told him I would definitely relay that message to you.
And what's the name, Mike?
His name is Willie Dodell, but he goes by Mobile Fitness.
Mobile Fitness, man. Well, I want you to relay to him that it's stories like that to keep the old man going. That's when I hear stories like that, when I hear stories like yours, Mike, and I hear stories like his, that, I mean, shit, how can I lay down and give, man, that's motivation for me. People, how do you stay motivated? When I hear stories like that, that keep my ass going. I'm gonna tell y'all one more story. Look, I was laying in the operating room, had my heart attack, and I thought I was for sure that I was gonna die, Kim. I just said, well, it felt like an elephant was sitting on my chest. I suffocated, just taking little tiny sips of air. I just knew I was on my way out. I just knew I wasn't gonna make it through the night. A nurse came in there, and I wouldn't know if I seen her today. She whispered in my ear. She said, "Mr. Fletcher, people are counting on you." And you know, when she told me that, Kim, and then she said a prayer for me. The nurse prayed for me in the ER. She said, "People are counting on you, Mr. Fletcher. Can I pray for you?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she prayed for me at that VA hospital emergency room, and I felt like getting up, walking out of there when she got through praying.
Well, I want to say, Mr. Fletcher, from somebody who I don't follow weightlifting, and I haven't much. I mean, my dad did, Michael does. You know, from someone, I was born in 77, grew up in the 80s and the 90s, and just watching you as a daughter of a man who was in your time frame, you know, and around in your time, you inspire me, you motivate me. I told Michael the other day when we were watching the documentary again, I was in tears because you are that guy. And you know, I'm not a heavy lifter. I don't lift heavy shit, but you motivate me, and what you talk about and how you talk and who you are and how you are motivates me to do better. My father always would tell me, my maiden name is Nelson. He said, "We are Nelsons. We may bend, but we don't never break." You get up and you do what you got to do, and you handle your business. That's how he was. And that's how he taught me to be. And now that he's gone, and when I was watching you, I just started crying because I was like, that's how my dad was. You know, you were driving around in your cars, your older car. That's how he was. And I'm a daughter of the 70s. I know a lot of daughters of the 70s, a lot of daughters of the 80s and the 90s. And that's how our fathers were. And you provide so much motivation for me in that aspect. So I just want to thank you for that, and keep doing what you're doing. And I keep following you and watching. Whenever Michael has you on, I'm like, "Oh, is that Mr. Fletcher? Let me turn this down so I can listen." Because he can ready to say something, and I'm getting ready to say yes. I'm going to follow and keep me motivated to keep doing it. So I really appreciate you.
Oh, Kim, that you know, when I heard Mike say what he said, and I hear you say what you said, I consider myself nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I'm just so lucky to even be able to sit here and talk to y'all that it ain't even funny. I mean, I didn't do nothing, Kim, honey. When y'all be talking, I didn't do nothing. I didn't have it. The good Lord is the reason I'm here. Only thing I did was have faith that the good Lord could do it. That's it. Other than that, I'm so tiny, so little. I ain't doing nothing. But God have a way of taking that little old tiny person and making something out of them so that he can help. The only reason I think I'm here is so that I can help somebody else. I want to see something in common be a gigantic success and gigantic talk show. And if I can do anything possible to try to help that out, then I'm gonna do it.
Thank you. When I was 468 pounds, and after I had my surgery, and I was 2 weeks after surgery, they said you can work out. So I said, I'm in the gym every day. And to get myself up, I had your ringtone, your package on the phone on my alarm. So every day I had to get up, the alarm would be like, get your ass up. So that's what got me going, was get up.
Man.
Get your ass. 2 weeks after surgery, get up. It hurt. You know, I was almost 500 pounds. It was painful. I could barely walk. It hurt. But your voice was get your ass up. So I got up and I worked out every day.
Man.
I listen to you every day. You motivate me. I got my little clips and stuff that I listen to to make sure that I get my ass up, because I just got to remember every day, like you said, steal your motherfucking set.
No matter what.
And out here in Maryland, it's cold as shit out here right now. It's cold as shit.
It's 21 degrees.
So, you know, my wife got all her workout equipment in the room over here. So she in the house, my ass out in the garage. And it's cold as shit out there. And so I can make every excuse, but I'm to the point now where it's just like, I don't give a fuck if it's cold outside. My fingers about to fall off. I got to get my ass out there and work out. Hell, I went out there this morning and worked out. I said, because there ain't nowhere in the world I'm going to interview this man and not have worked out today. So I took my ass out of that cold ass garage and I got my sets in. I did my thing, and I'm going to definitely start using the app. I signed up for it. I'll be documenting that. So I definitely want to show people that old CT know what the hell he's talking about around here.
Oh yeah, and they got some. It's some things on there where I actually get to, you know, interact with you guys. You get to ask me questions and stuff, and I don't exactly know how the shit work, but I know that's part of it too.
You just show up.
I'm tell you, yeah. I'm on the sign off here. I'm gonna sign up. I'm gonna tell you guys this one of my favorite interviews. I'm very proud of you, Kim. Very proud of you, Mike. And this, I hope you guys, you know, continue and make this a fantastic success.
I just want you to know, like you've been interviewed by, like I said, by a lot of great people. Yeah. So the fact that you would take part of your day and like I said, we don't have a gigantic following or anything like that. So the fact that you would take time out and talk with us, it means the world to me. It truly does. So I just want to thank you.
Thank you.
I truly appreciate you. And I hope this is not the last time we get to talk. I hope we can keep it going, and just thank you for, you know, every now and then he shoots me, you know, motivation and stuff like that on my posts. I appreciate that. So thank you so much, Mr. Fletcher.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Mike. And we'll do it again.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.